continue now with our great American panel. All right, Dan Rather's back and had this to say about President Obama selling watermelon.
The undertow in the coming election is going to be President Obama's leadership. And the Republicans will make a case, and a lot of independents will buy this argument. Listen, he just hasn't been really. Look at the health care bill. It was his #1 priority. It took him forever to get it through, and he had to compromise it to death. And a version of, listen, he's a nice person. He's very articulate. This is what's going to be used against him. But he couldn't sell watermelons if you gave him a state to flag down the traffic.
Go ahead, Penny. You defend him.
Oh, why am I having to defend this?
You're a liberal. He's a liberal. You're a liberal.
Please, no, there is no place in America for racial insensitivity, and that is something that he needs to apologize for, that he needs to set the record straight. There's no business like that here in America.
You know, Sean, you're going to disagree with me on this one, but I really don't think he had any malintent in what he said. I think he misspoke. I think if he had to think about it, he would probably say, yo, wow, that was pretty stupid for me to say it. But I don't think he had any bad intentions in it.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I can't stand Dan Rather. I really can't. I can't stand the guy. He's a left-wing nut job. What he did, you know, that ended up him losing his job is unforgivable from a journalist perspective. But I just question. I just don't think he's that bright. I don't think he really thought about what he was saying.
I think he was just trying to be clever, and he tried to, you know, always try to come up with clever sayings and folksy sayings, and it was a bad mistake.
And we all do it, I think. I think we all misspeak. And when you do that, you say, I'm sorry, and you get on.
But this is the problem. We live in America where if you misspeak, look, I have people that monitor this. Right now, there's some psycho leftist liberal in her underwear. You know, hiding out in her bunker somewhere.
Another visual I don't need.
No more visuals. Some psycho hanging out in there, hoping and praying that dumb old Sean Hannity says something wrong. You know, they do it to everyone else on this channel. They do it to Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin.
And the right-wing bloggers don't do the same thing to Democrats.
Everybody's doing it to everybody.
Come on,
the problem is, that's one of the reasons we don't solve as many problems, because we're spending so much time trying to say, gotcha, this guy made this mistake, he did that mistake. You know, we need to solve problems.
You know what? But this is a game that we're playing now, and the hope is that, you know, for example, Don Imus, did he apologize? Does anyone accept his apology? No, he's got to be fired for what he said. Bill Maher says outrageous things every week. No one ever cares what Bill Maher says.
And Glenn Beck says some pretty outrageous things too every week, and Rush Limbaugh and others.
He's never said. Wait a minute. He's never said anything over the top like what Dan Rather said.
Oh, he has said plenty of things.
What?
When he called the President of the United States, almost he referred to him as a racist. I mean, he has said some very outlandish things.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. And when the President hangs out with Jeremiah Wright for 20 years, can one conclude that there are issues with the President, black liberation theology?
And the President gave a speech and said he was intolerant. The President said that it is intolerant. And
he said that at a moment when he had to say it to save his political career.
He said, and he had to get one of the greatest speeches on race to address that same issue. So he stood up. And
I'm not saying, I think we ought to live in a world where you can make a mistake, what you're saying, and revise and extend your remarks, apologize, and it be accepted. But we don't live in that world anymore.
We're spending too much time just picking on each other all the time instead of solving problems. And I think that it's not a liberal, it's not a conservative thing. I think it's just the reality of the society we live in right now. We've got to try and move away from it.
We've got too many big things that we have to deal with as a country. We've got to get to a point where we can actually have those dialogues and those discussions and actually get to the heart of the matter. And if we sparse every single word that we say and slice and dice it and we waste our time, we're not going to get to the heart of the matter.
Is it worse that the President hung out with Jeremiah Wright for 20 years? Do you not find anything wrong with with the President hanging out with and not immediately condemning when the words came out, GD America, America's chickens came home to roost? When he found out about it, he didn't immediately condemn him. Wait a minute. Does that not bother you? Did that not show us how radical the President is?
I think we're all offended with what Jeremiah Wright said, and the President did stand up and say, but back to Danny's point, the politics of this extreme.
The politics of this extreme. Let me divert your attention, Mr. Hannity. Yeah.
But the President, no, I am not diverting.
You're diverting my...
That was during the course of the 2008 election. It was fully debated. The President spoke about it. It was fully debated. It was the main news for weeks.
For a thread throughout the entire campaign.
He made a speech. And he moved forward. Let's move forward.
Move forward. Forgive all that. Hey, it's right that he started his political career in the home of
the American people forgave him, and they said we're going to vote for him for President of the United States of America. So they've moved on to the next step.
All right. Good to see you. Thanks.